Alright girls, we're getting into equations that start off with letters on both sides of the equation. So really these will follow the same steps that I've been using beforehand, but we will kind of have one extra step at the very beginning to make sure that we are able to group the letters on the same side of the equation. So that's kind of the goal to start, is to make sure that you group all of the letters to just one side of the equation. It does not matter if it's the left side or the right side, but they just need to be grouped all together. Okay, let's take a look at question 1a. I've chosen 4 questions here from question 1 that might help us get started. But looking at question A, what I typically like to do is to see which side has the greater number of x's. Okay, so if I'm looking at the left side and the right side, on the left side we have 4x, and on the right side we have 2x. So I want to think about which side has more x's, and then basically I'm going to take away the same number of x's from both sides so that one of those x's will cancel out. Okay, since this side has the smaller number of x's, I just want to think about, okay, I'm going to take away that number of x's from the right hand side. So I want to get rid of the x's on this side because there's less x's, so I'm going to take away that value of x. I'm going to take away 2x from this side so that it's gone. But remember, whatever I do to one side of my equation, I also have to do to the other. So if I've now taken away 2x from this side, I also have to take away 2x from this side. So really it's like we're taking away 2x from both sides of our equation. Okay, the reason I chose to take away 2x, remember, is because this side has a smaller number of x's, and I just want to get rid of those x's from the right hand side. But now I'm going to bring down everything else that I see. The reason I put this minus 2x with this 4x is because we have to keep the x's with the x's. I cannot really use that 1 and combine with the minus 2x here. They just don't go together, right? So now I have 4x, take away 2x, gives me 2x. Bring down this plus 1. Bring down the equals. These have now gone away. Sorry, I kind of scribbled all over the paper. And then I bring down this plus 7, or just 7. Okay, and now we have something that is familiar to us that we've seen before, and we'll just follow the steps as usual. So from here I'm solving for x. I want to take away 1 from both sides. I end up with 2x. These have gone away, equals 6, and then divide both sides by 2. And I end up with x equals 6 divided 2 is 3. That's your answer. Okay, so it's really just about that first step and becoming comfortable with knowing what to do to group the x's together on both sides of the equation, or on one side of the equation. All right, let's try letter B. Again, so I have 5x on the left side and 3x on the right side. Okay, I want to group all of the x's together on one side, or really just get rid of the x's from one side of the equation. Okay, this side has less x than the left side, so I'm going to take away 3x from this side so that I can get rid of it, right? But since I've taken away 3x on the right side, I need to also take away 3x on the left side. Okay, we're only dealing with the x's right now. I can ignore the 4 and the 16 for right now. So I want to take away 5x minus 3x. That gives me 2x. And now I'll bring back my plus 4, bring down the equals, and bring down the 16. Now I have something that I'm familiar with, and we'll just solve as usual. Take away 4 from both sides, and then divide by 2. So x equals 6. All right, it's really about that first step. That's where we need to focus right now. I think you hopefully have all the rest of this down. All right, okay, let's look at letter H. Letter H is a little bit different because here I just have x on the left side and I have 5x on the right side. So this time we have more x on the right side than we do on the left side, and on the left side this x actually means that we have 1x. Okay, so I want to get rid of the x on the left side this time. I just like to keep things positive. That's why I choose to get rid of the smaller number of x's. So what I'm going to do is just take away x from the left side. You could also think of it as 1x, take away 1x, so that those go away, right? And since I've done that to the left side, I need to now do that to the right hand side. And then we'll bring everything down. So I'm bringing down this plus 2, or just 2, 5x, take away x, we know is 4x, and then bring down this minus 2. Okay, we have seen this type of equation before. It is maybe a little bit mixed around from what you're used to. You're probably more used to seeing something that looks like this, 4x minus 2 equals 2, where this is on the left-hand side. But remember, I've talked to you about challenging yourself and making sure that you're able to solve this type of equation, no matter how it looks. So I know I'm solving for x. I can't touch this 4x until I get rid of this minus 2. I get rid of it by adding 2 to both sides of the equation. So 2 plus 2 is 4. And then I bring down this 4x. This has now gone away. So I have 4 equals 4x. To find my answer, I need to divide both sides of my equation by 4. These x's cancel out. I'm left with x on the right-hand side. And then 4 divided by 4 is 1. So if you want to swap it around, our solution would be x equals 1. All right. Okay, lastly is question K. This one is also different because I have a negative x, all right, on the right-hand side. And I have 3x on the left-hand side. So remember, our goal for that very first step is to make sure that we eliminate x from one side of the equation. Okay, there are a few different ways that I could do this. It really is up to you. I'm going to try something a little bit different. You might find this a little bit more challenging, but if you can think of another method, that would be okay as well. What I'm going to do, since I have a minus x here, I know I could eliminate this x from the right-hand side of my equation if I just plus x, right? Because minus x and plus x will cancel each other out, right? They just go away. And since I've added x to the right-hand side, I also need to add x to the left-hand side. So now I have 3x plus x is 4x. Bring down this minus 1, and then set that equal to 23. Okay, and now we have something that we're hopefully comfortable with again. Okay, we just add 1 to both sides. This goes away, equal 24, and then divide by 4. So x equals 6, and that is all there is to it, okay? So really work on that first step of combining all of your x's together. There are multiple ways to solve most equations. Some of you might have decided, oh, I want to take away 3x from both sides at the very first step, and that's completely acceptable. It's really up to you. A lot of you might have different working out on how you arrive at your answer, but as long as your answer matches, it doesn't really matter how you got there or what steps you took to get there, as long as they are accurate. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're practicing these equations. Your working out might look slightly different than mine. You might have a natural instinct that's different than mine, and that's okay. But just keep working hard and be checking your answers. I'll be sending those out. All right, good luck, girls, and keep practicing.